Dear students, today's topic is literary term paradox. And I'll begin by telling you the meaning of the word paradox, from where it originated and what a paradox is, means what is its definition. So the term paradox is derived from the Greek word paradoxon, which means contrary to expectations, existing belief, or perceived opinion. It is a statement that appears to be self-contradictory or absurd, yet turns out to have a valid meaning. Means a paradox is a statement which seems on its face to be self-contradictory, but it actually has a valid meaning. It is also used to illustrate an opinion or statement contrary to accepted traditional ideas. A paradox is often used to make a reader think over an idea in innovative way. Now, why authors or writers use paradox? What's the purpose of paradox? The function of literature, as we all know, is to make the readers enjoy reading. Readers enjoy more when they extract the hidden meanings out of the writing rather than something presented to them in an uncomplicated manner. So this way, the chief purpose of a paradox is to give pleasure. So authors and writers use paradox for the embellishment and also for emphasizing their views or ideas or whatever they want to express in their writings. So for the purpose of embellishment, to give pleasure and to emphasize. In poetry, the use of paradox is not confined to mere wit and pleasure. Rather, it becomes an integral part of poetic diction. Poetic diction means poetic language. Poets usually make use of paradox to create a remarkable thought or image out of words. For example, John Donne's poem, Death Be Not Proud. Now this poem was, you have already read it in your first year syllabus, and you must remember these lines. You must be remembering these lines. One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. This means that death does not kill us, but actually we become independent of death. We become independent of the cycle of birth and death. It is death which itself dies. The paradox is used by almost all poets, but it's a central device in metaphysical poetry. And John Donne, he was a metaphysical poet, and he wrote a collection of paradoxes and problems in prose and exploited the figure in his poetry, The Canonization. His famous poem, The Canonization, for example, is organized as an extended proof full of local paradoxes of the paradoxical thesis that lovers are saints. The lovers have lost the world but gained more in the world of each other. The lovers are dead to the world. They have therefore derived the status of saints. But the lovers are devoted to each other as a saint is devoted to God. So in this way, lovers are like saints. So this is a paradoxical statement. Kenneth Brooks says that the language of poetry is the language of paradox. Then some types of paradox in poetry are meant to communicate a tone of irony to its readers. as well as lead their thoughts to the immediate subject. Paradox in most poems normally strives to create feelings of intrigue and interest in readers' minds, to make them think deeper and harder to enjoy the real message of the poem. Now, if we talk about certain examples or examples of paradox in literature, paradox is not just a clever or comical statement or use of words. Paradox has serious implications because it makes statements that often summarize the major themes of the work they are used in. For example, if we take George Orwell's famous novel Animal Farm, which is also in your syllabus in second paper, one part of the cardinal rule of the animals or the Animal Farm is this statement. And what is it? That all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Now, this statement seems to not make any sense. It appears to be absurd that how all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. But on closer examination, when we read this novel, we find that, or it becomes clear to us that Orwell points out a political truth. There is a satire hidden in this line. The government in the novel claims that everyone is equal, but it has never treated everyone equally. It is the concept of equality stated in this paradox that is opposite to the common belief of equality. Then, if we talk about William Shakespeare, he uses paradox very frequently, and in his play Hamlet, the protagonist Hamlet says, "I must be cruel to be kind." Now, this announcement does not seem to make any sense. It sounds absurd. How can an individual treat others kindly even when he is cruel? But however, we all know that what happens in this play. Actually, Hamlet is talking about his mother and how he intends to kill Claudius, his uncle, to avenge his father's death, because Claudius was responsible for his father's death, or we know that because Claudius has killed his father. Now, this act of Hamlet will be a tragedy for his mother, who is now married to Claudius. Hamlet does not want his mother to be the beloved of his father's murderer any longer, and so he thinks that the murder will be good for his mother. So he planned to kill his uncle, and he speaks out, or he says that I must be cruel to be kind. So these are certain examples from literature only, and I hope that this term is clear to you. Thank you.